These are all the heroes in Mobile Legends, but out of 130 heroes and nearly 270 trillion possible team combinations, there are 4 draft patterns that can skyrocket your rank. However, that alone isn't enough because I've studied every single hero to answer questions like which hero should you ban, how should solo players draft, what's the right synergy for duo, trio, or full 5-man teams, what's the correct pick order, and how many heroes do you actually need to master for each role. But before that, there's one huge mistake you need to avoid first, which is copying MPL drafts. MPL drafts are turn-based. They ban, then pick, then ban again, and pick again. That's called a draft ban system. But for us, it's completely different. We ban everything first, then pick our heroes. That's called a blind ban. Different rules, different strategy. And remember, MPL teams already know their opponents days before the match, so their bans and picks are based on who they're up against. Like when a team faces Carl TZ, they'll always ban Lancelot. Even though you should be careful following MPL drafts, there are 2 team compositions that MPL teams often use, and we'll break them down later. That is the first thing you must understand because draft is a phase before the game starts where you do 2 things. Ban, to prevent everyone from using specific heroes, and pick, to choose the heroes your team will play. But to ban and pick properly, you need to understand 2 key concepts, team comp and win con. Team comp stands for team composition, meaning what kind of lineup does your team have. Do you use an assassin or a tank jungler, a healing or a tanky roamer, and so on. The problem is, team comp alone isn't enough because every team composition has its own win con or win condition, which is the specific condition your team needs to fulfill to win the game. For example, how should your team open a war? What's each role's job during a team fight? Even weird things like why this MPL team targets tanks first instead of the enemy damage dealers. Make sure you understand these 2 concepts because they are crucial before we learn how to pick heroes properly. But before that, let's start with how to ban heroes. The ban phase consists of 3 initial bans. Then you reveal the bans, followed by 2 final bans and reveal them again. Fortunately, the goal of banning is simple, to make sure you have more OP heroes available than your enemy. Here's how to maximize it. In every meta, there are usually 3 OP heroes. If your team gets the first pick, there should only be 1 OP hero left after the ban phase, because if more than 1 is left, the enemy will also get their share of OP heroes, maybe even more than you. So if you get first pick, ban only 2 OP heroes, not all 3. But if your team gets second pick, you should make sure that 3 OP heroes are left. That way, when the enemy picks 1, you can grab the other 2. To make it easier, imagine this simulation. If only 1 OP hero is left, the first pick team has the advantage. They get the OP hero while the other side doesn't. If 2 OP heroes are left, it's even since both teams can get 1 each. But if 3 OP heroes are left, the second pick team has the edge. They can take 2 while the first team only gets 1. This concept is extremely important. It helps you decide when to ban OP heroes and when to ban normal heroes instead. So, when you're not banning OP heroes, what kind of heroes should you ban? The answer is heroes that counter the heroes you plan to use. Like if you wanna play Freya, ban Valerie. If you want to play Ling, ban Mincetar. Or if you want to play Obsidia, ban Cloud. The banning strategy we just discussed is powerful, but your bans will be wasted if you pick the wrong heroes. So to draft heroes properly, you need to understand team composition and its win condition. Let's start with the dive composition, which consists of XP laners who can jump into the enemy backline like Povius, Xborg and Yuzhong, assassin junglers, or ones that can dive in like Baxia, Fanny and Lancelot, mid laners with high mobility like Selena, Kagura and Valentina, roamers that can jump in like Matilda, Kalea and Cho, and agile marksmen like Roger, Cloud and Irithel. Their goal is to dive into the enemy backline during team fights and eliminate the damage dealers first. That's their win condition. Whenever a fight breaks out, the enemy damage dealers must go down first. This comp is so strong that even MPL teams use it. Sadly, it can be countered by heroes that can cancel engages like Diggy, Valor and Akai, so make sure to ban them. And remember, dive comps require tight coordination. Focus on one target at a time, don't waste skills on the same enemy. Just use enough to secure the kill and move to the next target. But wait, does this actually apply to solo players? Don't worry, I'll show you how to adapt it for trio, duo and even solo play. But first, let's move on to the next comp. If dive aims to go in, then this one is the complete opposite, the poke composition. It consists of 3 poke heroes, 1 executor, and 1 tanky disengager who can stop enemy engages. The XP laner and jungler can be poke, executor, or tank heroes. The mid and gold lane must be poke heroes and the roamer should be either a tank or a poke hero. Their goal is to chip enemies from a long range, then have the executor finish them off once their HP is low. So the win condition is the enemy team must already be low before a fight starts. But be careful, if the enemy dives in first, your tank must cancel their engage immediately. That's why the poke heroes need spammable long range skills. In the mid lane, there's Novaria, Savior, and Zetian. In the gold lane, there's Beatrix, Layla, and Ixia, and for roam, there's Diggy. Executors must have skills that reset on kill. In the XP lane, there's Martis. In the jungle, there's Leomord, Roger, and Karina. For your tanky disengagers, in the XP lane, there's Hylos, Cho, and Ruby. In the jungle, there's Fredwin, Barats, and Akai, and for roam, there's Lolita, Grok, and Valerie. Poke comps work great below Mythic Glory, since most players there don't know how to counter it. But in higher ranks, where players understand vision and flanking, this comp starts to fall off. So if you want something that works in every rank, go with the front to back composition, because this is the most common comp, used by casuals, elo boosters, and even MPL teams. It's split into 2. The front line and the back line. The back line has 2 consistent damage dealers with different damage types. Remember, consistent damage dealers, not the burst ones. In the gold lane, there's every marksman except Leslie. In the mid lane, there's every DPS mage like Kimi, Cecilion, and Savior. While the front line has 1 initiator, 1 sustain hero, and 1 disengager. In the XP lane, there's Glue, Yuzhong, or Cho. Jungle can be Fredwin, Uranus, or Barats. Roam can be Tigreal, Kalea, or Lolita. The win condition is your backline must melt the enemy's frontline, while your frontline zones their backline to keep them out of fights. Usually, your XP laner or roamer handles zoning with a lot of CC. Remember that clip earlier? That's why the MPL team focus on hitting tanks. They're playing a front-to-back composition. Even though it's easy to use, this comp relies too much on your marksman and mage. If they get picked off, your team can't do anything. And since it depends on 5-man fights, it's weak against split push. These comps can all help you win. But if you wanna win games fast, you need to understand the hyper carry composition. Its goal is simple, make one player a star who carries the team. The hyper carry can be in the gold lane like Freya, Nathan, or Claude, or be in the jungle like Ling, Yi Sun Shin, or Lancelot. Be careful though, only high DPS heroes can become hyper carries, not burst ones with long cooldowns. In this comp, the roamer always sticks with the hyper carry, while the rest of the team must be independent. Their win condition is that your hyper carry must get rich. If they fall behind in gold, you will certainly lose. Sure, it's risky to rely on one hero, but if they get ahead, you can snowball hard and end the game fast. Every team comp has its strengths, weaknesses, and win conditions. None hard counter one another. It's all about execution. But here's the next problem. Even if you understand team comps, your pick order during the draft is just as important. So follow this guide. After the ban phase, you should already know which comp you're going for. Every hero you pick must fit that composition. The pick priority goes like this: overpowered heroes, flexible heroes who can play multiple lanes like Baxia who can play as the roamer or jungler, and Lunox who can play in the gold or mid lane, followed by counter picks, tanks, damage dealers, and initiators. Let's look at an example. In the ban phase, we ban Fanny, 1-1 and Yisun Shin. The enemy bans Nathan, 1-1 and Lancelot. Now, several strong heroes are open like Bane, Hayabusa, and Angela. Since OP front-to-back heroes like Nathan and 1-1 are banned, I decide to go for a dive composition. That means I need an XP and roamer that can dive, a diving or assassin jungler, and agile mid and gold laners. So, I ban Diggy and Bane to cover dive comps' weaknesses. During the draft, I follow the priority list. I pick Baxia, who is strong and flexible. The enemy picks Xborg and Kalea. Since Xborg counters Baxia, I'll switch Baxia to roam, a diving roamer role. Next, I look at what's left. There's no more OP or flexible heroes that fit the dive comp, so I move to counter picks. Since they have Xborg, I pick Ling. He counters Xborg and fits the comp perfectly. Then, I grab Povius as a tanky XP laner that can dive to complete the front line. After the enemy picks, I move to damage dealers. I choose Harriet for gold lane and Valentina for mid. A magic gold laner is more suitable since we already have a lot of physical damage from Link and Povius. And there it is, a dive versus a front-to-back composition. But does this really apply to solo players? Alright, let's talk about that. If you play trio, you should focus on the mid trio, mid, jungle, and roam. They dictate rotations and follow the same 4 compositions. But if you play duo, it depends on your teammates. You can get paired with another duo, paired with another trio, or paired with 3 solos. If you're with a trio, follow their draft direction and fit into their comp. But if not, focus on these 3 synergies. First, roam and gold lane. Check your team's damage type. If your team already has 2 physical heroes like Ling and Lapu Lapu, pick a magic gold laner like Harith or Nathan. If you're the roamer, look at your team's front line. If you have no tank, you must pick one, unless you're running a combo like Freya and Diggy or Ixia and Diggy. Make sure your roamer covers your gold laner's weaknesses. For example, Freya has high damage from early to late game, but she has no mobility. Once she's slowed, she's stuck. Diggy fixes that. His ultimate gives CC immunity. His second skill traps enemies so they can't escape Freya. It also works the other way around. Some gold laners can cover their roamer's weaknesses, like Franco. His hook is deadly but easy to dodge. If your gold laner can CC enemies like Mia's second skill, Franco's hook becomes much easier to land. The roam gold synergy is strong, but the strongest duo is mid and jungle. Their synergy must complement each other too, but you'll also have to pay attention to their behavior. If your jungler desperately needs to farm like Ling, Yisun Shin, or Joy, don't pick farm-heavy mages like Cecilion, Cyclops, or Lunox, and vice versa. If your mage needs to farm a lot, pick a jungler that can pressure the enemy mid like Fedwin, Barretts, or Baxia. The last synergy is jungler and roam, which works similarly to mid and jungle. But if you're playing solo, you'll need to lower your expectations. Just follow these principles. Your team must have both a frontline and backline. You must have both physical and magic damage dealers. You must have both early and late game heroes. You have someone who can engage and someone who can disengage. And if you get matched with a trio, follow their composition instead. By now, you should understand how to draft properly. But to draft well, how many heroes should you actually master, and which ones? If you play Roam, learn one initiator tank like Tigreal, one dive tank like Cho, and one support like Angela. If you play jungle, learn one tank jungler like Fredwin, one magic assassin like Joy, and one physical assassin like Hayabusa. If you play XP lane, learn one sustain hero like Ruby, one damage hero like Benedetta, and one tank hero like Glue. If you play gold lane, learn one late game carry like Cloud, one strong laner like Granger, and one magic marksman like Harith. If you play mid lane, learn one late game mage like Cecilion, one burst mage like Valentina, and one utility mage like Faramis. But above all, you must know every hero's skills and passives to counter the enemy's gameplay. This video took a long time to make, so become a channel member to get early access to future videos. And if you like this one, you'll definitely love this video too.